if you're thinking about getting certified and you're not quite sure what's involved in the process or just after the process, here's a great client story. National Carbonbank, they've just been through the process and we're having some conversations after getting certified. So looking into the future for you guys, this is what it might look like.
Tell me about, so you said 4 years.
Yeah.
The business has been going 4 years.
4.5, yeah.
What was the epiphany or the passion that drove, the idea and that it became something? What was it for you?
I had a friend that owned a lighting company,
Yeah.
and he asked me to come and help him out for a couple of months with this really complex thing called the New South Wales Energy Saving Scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to help him, I realised that actually if he needed help, there were probably a lot of businesses that needed help doing this, that were independent and transparent of solution providing, just literally assisting with the legislation. And so we started National Carbonbank then.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So talk me through your passion. Like, you're very passionate about this business. Talk me through that. Like, what is the thing that you're most passionate about? When you think about your customers, what is it that you really love doing, and that is really your sort of guiding light?
That's a really good question. It just comes down to being really great at service.
Yeah.
I don't care about being a big business, though we're growing fast. I don't care about, how much money we're charging on this, that and the other, though the business has to make a profit or we wouldn't exist. But I really just want to be a really healthy, good company that's great at our service. Yeah. That is the truth, the driving passion. I think because of that, and I always just come back to my values around, well, do I think that's fair and reasonable? And I'm quite clear about, I don't want to do that. If I don't want to do that, we just won't do it. But I also will never do something, I'll never say that we can do something when we can't. And so that makes it easy to deliver, because we're clear about our boundaries of delivery. And so we know what the service should be, and I've been on the other end of that service. I know what it's like to work in a corporate company that just needs to have a good quality service provider. And so I just always try and get the team to think about, well, what is that service that we're trying to deliver? How can we make it quicker? How can we be more expert at delivering that help, and how can we maximise their returns?
Yeah, right. Fantastic. And so, you guys have, I'm very proud of you that, particularly in this area, because it was part of the beginning of my career, this, that you know now in terms of this space. So what were some of the drivers, when you were looking at international standards and saying, actually, these international standards are applicable, what were some of the drivers for you to make that call when we talked on that Saturday?
Yeah. The first one was tenders. So as we got bigger and stronger, we've realised that we wanted to apply for more tender work, and we've got a number of councils, more than 4 dozen councils. So we need to be really good at what we do, and so I wanted to be able to tick that box in the tender box list. The other was, I thought, well, if there's a global standard of quality management, there must be something worthwhile here. And so I'm hoping, and I was hoping that, and I've seen it happen, that the system would assist me to develop a stronger management program for my company.
And has it given you that so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all about continually considering improvement. What does improvement look for you? What does that look like for you in the future? So if in this business, actually, let me rephrase the question. What would be the 3 things that you'd really like to improve in this business in the next 12 months?
I'd like to improve the management of our risks, and just forecast better our delays that occur around outside our control, and how inside we can better manage those risks. I'd like to have a more proactive and involved management team as well, so that as a group will be stronger. And I think one of the things about the quality system that I've seen that has forced us to do is just ensure that we're discussing all the key items on a regular basis, and then revisiting, because it's easy for businesses to just discuss matters but then not to improve and revisit and make sure that you're actually taking those steps going forward. So I'd say that was the second thing. And the third thing is we want to expand our services. So we want to be a bigger, stronger company, and we will be able to do that now, I feel, more easily, because we've got more structure around how we operate.
Yeah, fantastic. And look, I think what you have rightly identified is, I can see very easily how a quality system can deliver that, because it talks about risk-based thinking, and you could say, you want to identify, plan and manage risks, and that ideally is what ISO 9 and 14001, but ISO 9001 is all about. It's that structure of plan, do, check, act. So you basically you're sort of doing and checking and then acting. So that's you're acting, you're checking and you're acting is like you're monitoring and tracking, and then your meetings, and then your list of actions, and then follow up, and that cycling back in communication that you talked about. So, that routine of, thinking about the frequency of those meetings. It's tough. I can definitely say that it's tough with my team. Like my marketing manager sent me she's our marketing manager. So Rebecca's boss is in Bristol. She's working from home in Bristol. So her husband is training to be a King's Counsel. They moved from Mona Vale to Bristol. And I was just like, all right, we'll try and make it work, And it's a struggle because they're exactly 12 hours opposite to us at the moment, or it's like 13 hours or something. It's tough because of our daylight saving. It'll shift one more hour into our favour, I think, once daylight saving finishes. And so that's tough, but she sent me a WhatsApp message this week and she said, our next quarterly executive meeting's planned for a particular date. Can we move it a month? And the last meeting ran a month late, which it was due to be the 2 weeks before Christmas. Like it's a 1 day off-site every quarter. And it got bumped to the beginning of January, so Tuesday of the first week back after Christmas. We had it, and then she's put in a request to have it moved another month, which puts it starts to smash up against the next one that's due, and everyone will go, it was only 4 weeks since the last one, let's move that.
Doing it, just
and all those little tiny circumstances, which are all very reasonable and fair requests in the moment, I zone out and I had to be tough, and I was like, no, because the next one's going to run on time and everyone's going to be like, it's already 6 weeks, like it's only 6 or 8 weeks or whatever it is, because that's actually more than that, it's 10 weeks. So it's those sorts of things that are going to be tough in the future, and they do require that integrity to maintain that discipline of routine, even if you're not going to be there.
But I think in a way, I can relate to you a little bit on a good team member leaving the site, because we had an amazing compliance officer here who decided that she needed to move to Byron Bay. It wasn't quite Bristol, but
Byron's probably better than
Bristol. But I was in the lifestyle thing here. I think I know who's got it right.
Right.
But we made that work because she was amazing. So you need to hold on to those good team members. But to your point about the discipline of being structured, I think that's the way that you keep everything else easy.
Exactly.
Sometimes it is hard to do that, but if you stick with it, everything else just continually falls into place. So if you let that fall, then you won't have those opportunities to decide what your strategy is going to be for next quarter and what you want to do as a team to fix some of the things and improve all those other things. And so it won't occur, which means that you'll just miss out on, and it'll be harder to solve all those problems.
What do you think are thinking about your customers? So you said before you were on the other side of the fence, and you've been a customer of a service. What, in your view, do you think are, and in thinking about your customers and this business, do you think are the 3 or 4 most important things for this business to do for your customers? Very specifically, your customers. What do you think are the top, say, 3 or 4 things?
To be really quick and efficient about the service, so they're not waiting. To make sure we don't get it wrong. To make sure that we don't ask for stuff they don't need, and you do that by being experts at it. And to maximise their returns. And you do that by being knowledgeable around the markets and trading at the right times and delivering the cash quickly. That's
fantastic.
what they want from us.
That, just thinking out loud, forget about that for a second. That might start to inform your dashboard. Makes some sense. There's the smiley face thing, but there's the speed. You could track that because you could say inquiry.
Yes, actually we're just starting to do that. We've just got a new management program called RIKE, you might know it, and we've just literally put in place what is the start date of the claim and what is the finish date of the claim in order to do exactly that.
So you could take it right back to phone call.
Although there are lots of things that delay that claim that my team would argue is not our fault that it's delayed out that long. But you can extract all that and still get some measurement.
Perfect. So that could be an internal indicator of, a happy place in terms of speed. That they might not get the exact sense of what's going on, but you can track it internally and go, actually, this one we need to escalate this. So what would you like? And this is me and you. I want to know your wish list. What would be on your wish list from us? In terms of what you would like to see from us in the future. Like what sorts of things in terms of how we support you?
Good question. I would like you to look at my business and make suggestions like you have earlier today around dashboards and things that will be meaningful to change and improve the company. So that would be more useful to my business than coming in and auditing us once a year, which we know we need to do, and we'll do with a high level of commitment, because that'll make sure that we keep on track with our own goals. But I think the ability to, because you are in a number of different businesses and you can see how quality companies are performing, that would be the most value.
At the moment, that's 1,200 companies that
good.
we're in. Yeah. Jack.
You hit that smiling face on that dashboard.
That, Jack, needs to go into our staff training. Like that's, what you've just said, it comes out of my mouth every day, but it coming out of your mouth from my team is that's what I say. I'm like, stop auditing the standard.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, every time Frederick mentioned an example of another business, my ears pricked up.
Perfect.
Because as business owners, we don't get enough exposure to that. We get exposure to our own team and our own service every day, usually for most of us 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, or 5 plus a bit more, and that's all we see and breathe. So when you hear about other businesses' experiences in the context of what you're trying to achieve, it's really useful. Yeah.
How, and I'm just spitballing here, how often do you think you could afford to spend an hour with me hearing about that stuff? So you can hear about it from Frederick, but how often, if you just think about your life in general and your work and all that sort of stuff, what do you think would be an acceptable frequency in thinking about a whole year? How often do you reckon you could spend an hour with me talking about that sort of stuff?
I don't know, a couple of times, maybe once a quarter, or I don't know. I mean, you said before, Joe, I give you permission to spend a day at home and write out those dashboards for the next year. I almost laughed, because one of my resolutions for this year is to spend a bit more time away from the business so that I can be planning and be a better managing director, because you can't, thank you, because you can't actually be in swimming all the time. You have to be out on the side of the pool watching where everyone is going to be able to direct them. And I'm learning that as I go. It's been the great fun thing of having your own business, is the adventure of it growing and doing what you want it to do. But it's scary too, so scary, because suddenly you're all these people swimming you didn't really even know that you were going to need.
21 mortgages, rents, you got to pay out there.
Exactly. I wake up every morning thinking that, and they're great people, and I want to make sure that they're happy and that they stay and they do everything that we want to do as a team and that they're satisfied. And I know that's more than just remuneration. So that's a whole part of the commitment of, I think, a good company. I want to have a culture here, I think that we do, where people come and they work hard, but they're really happy to do so. And when the going gets tough, they all just kind of grit in. And when it doesn't get tough, then we all relax and enjoy it and take the benefit of that.